While the world is preoccupied with these dramatic moves by Trump, there is a terrifying Chinese plan, a real Chinese scheme to swallow up the island of Taiwan without firing a single shot. At the same time, we see 10,000 Russian tanks waiting for 0 hour to completely invade the capital, Kyiv. What exactly is happening? Are we witnessing a redrawing of the world map by force? And what do these international intelligence agencies know about the $1 billion deposited in Zelensky's secret accounts? Today, we will reveal all these details, and we will also uncover for you the details of the Night of Hell and the deals being made under the table in the United Arab Emirates for the first time away from Europe's eyes. Stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings, and welcome to our renewed meeting today, God willing, in this series of opinion episodes. The world is witnessing truly suspicious events today. There are movements, there are preparations that have now begun, suggesting that great things are coming. At a time when America is moving to take control of Greenland Island, and at a time when there is talk about the necessity of annexing Canada as well, and at the same time as American forces are moving to strike Iran, to carry out a decisive military operation in Iran. The event, or the widespread commotion that followed the announcement of this peace council, which Trump spoke about, after all these events, we also see suspicious movements from China and Russia. The scent of tension and escalation has also begun in the Asia-Pacific region. Recently, China has started to reveal some plans there, revealing the real schemes. At a very rapid pace, the Chinese army conducted large-scale maneuvers around the island of Taiwan, training for everything except amphibious landings. This revealed that China's plan will indeed be different. China is training for a scenario of completely isolating the island of Taiwan, imposing a total naval blockade, and cutting off all forms of communication on the island, until it is forced to surrender without any shots being fired, meaning without a landing operation by Chinese forces on Taiwanese territory. Why is that? Because they don't want to enter into a destructive war against the Taiwanese army. They don't want to cause destruction to Taiwanese facilities and infrastructure. China, to put it plainly, does not want to annex a burned or destroyed island. It wants to annex the island with all its huge economic capabilities, its factories, its financial, legal and economic institutions, and so on. But even more dangerous than all of this is Taiwan's military forces and the military bases it has. It has more than 700 aircraft, more than 90 warships, and more than 20,000 military vehicles. Tanks, armored vehicles, and so on. Missiles, all of them are Western and American made. So the dangerous thing is, if this scenario is carried out, all these weapons, or this advanced American technology, will end up in China's hands. That's why they're planning to do this scenario. Paralyze everything in Taiwan, impose a naval blockade to force Taiwan to surrender and hand over the keys of the island to China. America knows about this plan, and that's why, just this month, America sold Taiwan new weapons worth $11 billion. $11 billion worth of weapons, including drones and also satellite internet stations. So what is the purpose of these weapons? To break this upcoming blockade? So the important thing is that today it's clear that China is ready and prepared to achieve this on all levels. I mean, even to carry out this scenario, what is China waiting for? It's only waiting for the right opportunity today. It's closely monitoring Trump's moves, just waiting for Trump to make a mistake. so it can seize the opportunity to carry out this plan, the plan to annex Taiwan. So that's on one side, from China's side. On the other side, we also see Russia. Russia last night made a suspicious move. Honestly, a move that today in Ukraine they are calling hell. During this week, the Russian army began major preparations for something big that's coming. The talk today, which has started to terrify Europeans, is why is Russia amassing such a huge number of troops in front of the capital Kyiv? Today's discussion is about a strike force consisting of between 9,000 and 10,000 tanks. They are just waiting for the order to attack, meaning they are only waiting for the right opportunity. This means that even Russia is waiting for Trump to make a critical mistake. They are waiting for something big that Trump will do in the next few days. And that thing will be the pretext to start the forbidden action. The main invasion will involve controlling Kyiv and fully annexing all Ukrainian territories. It's clear now that Russia has begun the final preparations for this day, because last night was a disastrous night for Kyiv, and it was a disastrous night for all of Ukraine. In general, it means Ukraine has lived through a major nightmare. There was an unprecedented Russian attack, truly, an attack with more than 400 missiles and drones. It took many energy facilities, electrical power facilities out of service, to the extent that the chief executive officer of the company managing the country's electrical power services said it outright. He said that the situation has become catastrophic in Ukraine since the beginning of this month, January, until today. 600,000 people are angry in the capital. How? Due to power outages and the heating being off? 70% of the apartments in the capital, how did they end up without electricity? And keep in mind, we are living in the winter season. The temperature reaches minus 20 degrees in some areas inside Ukraine. And here, pay close attention to the fact that the Ukrainian air defenses have gone out of service due to shortages and a severe lack of missiles. When we talk about a severe shortage of energy, there is also a severe shortage of missiles. Russia knows very well the number of these missiles that Ukraine has, so it sends cheap drones to deplete the stock of these missiles. That means things are easy, very simple for the Russians. This was the attack that happened last night. Russia sent more than 370 drones just to deplete the interceptor missiles, while the real strikes. The real targets were with hypersonic missiles, Orishnik missiles, and Kinjal missiles. These are the missiles that the Russians used again for the first time in more than 3 years since their last use. This shocking Russian strike truly was shocking. It comes at a time when Russian forces are advancing on all fronts, and it comes at a very sensitive time. As I said, everyone is waiting for the next escalatory steps that President Trump will take. The Russians too are probably now preparing things for that day. There is a statement by a Russian general who said that Russia gave Ukraine something great, but Ukraine did not preserve this modernity. He said that when the Soviet Union collapsed, it left Ukraine with a very great legacy. Military factories, dozens of nuclear missiles, more than 240 Mikoyan Gurevich fighter jets, add to that squadrons of Sukhoi 27 aircraft, dozens of transport planes, air defense radars, and more. But in the end, Ukraine gave up all these gains and chose to be slaves to the West. This Russian general said that Russia is now just correcting, meaning correcting this historical mistake that happened. Ukraine didn't deserve it. Is that what it means? He said there is a Russian mathematician, an expert in calculations and the historical cycles of people and countries and so on. He said that according to the calculations he made, Ukraine will end completely. In the year 2029, he said that Ukraine entered this critical political phase in 2017 and it will end 12 years from that date, which means mathematically in 2029. So what's strange is that these statements are coming out to the world today, at a time when voices inside the Ukrainian parliament are talking about the need for disintegration. I mean, this talk is now coming from inside the Ukrainian parliament. There is a parliamentarian in Ukraine who wrote a post saying that the only obstacle to peace is Zelensky. And here, pay close attention that all these events and this serious Russian escalation are happening at the same time as negotiations are being held in the United Arab Emirates about the Donbas region. These negotiations, which concluded today, were attended by Russia, Ukraine, and the United States, while there was no presence or representative from Europe. This was a huge shock for the Europeans. The main party, the real party in this conflict, was not present at the negotiating table and was not present in the peace council established by Trump. This means that we are witnessing a suspicious shift, honestly, for the Europeans. After these European countries like France, Germany or Britain used to be main players in all international issues, today they are being pushed out of the system. We used to see them strongly intervening in everything, in every country, in every area of tension, in Libya, in Syria, in Iraq. They held conferences about these countries, about the fate of these countries, the fate of these peoples, in Paris, in London, in Berlin. Today, they have no presence, glory be to God. After they used to be a main player on the international stage, today they are sitting on the sidelines. Even their statements no longer have an international impact, while now we hear other strong voices coming from some Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa countries, from some countries of the Shanghai Organization. The world is changing very quickly, and all of this happened in just 1 year. We should pay close attention that the transformation is happening very rapidly. A few weeks ago, Zelensky insulted President Trump when he didn't read the terms of Trump's peace plan, even though several days had passed since he received it. So, there was that. This event was an insult to Trump, an insult to America. You get a document from the world's most powerful country, and you're not even interested enough to read it. So days and weeks passed, and everyone thought that Trump had forgotten about it or moved on. But the response came just yesterday, when there was supposed to be a meeting or gathering between Trump and Zelensky at this forum. The Davos forum in Switzerland, this time Trump was actually the one who insulted Zelensky, but in a silent way. Maybe no one noticed. He didn't call him a dictator loudly, or an illegitimate president, or say that he's weak and has no leverage like before, but he made him act like a servant, not like a president. Round. Zelensky had hoped to get firm security guarantees for Ukraine from Trump, and he hoped that America would get involved in the plan to rebuild Ukraine. The plan, with a budget of about $800 billion, he wanted America to contribute so that this amount could be raised. But in the end, while he was in Davos, he got the message from America. Don't even dream about it like that. So he immediately left Davos without any hesitation on an invitation. What was said? On an invitation? That Kyiv was left without electricity, as if Zelensky is the electrician who will restore power to the capital. The controversial Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán revealed a strange request that Zelensky had made to the European Union. This strange request was not only for $800 billion for reconstruction, but he also asked for an additional $700 billion for military spending. That means he wants to rebuild his country's infrastructure and at the same time also reshape a strong army for this country. With money from whom? With money from taxpayers in Europe, with money from the Germans, the French, the Italians, and of course the immigrants there, who also pay taxes like Moroccans, Algerians, Syrians, Turks, and so on. Is this possible? Viktor Orban said he will not allow that. He said he will never allow contributing these amounts, this figure, and he will never allow Ukraine to become a member of the European Union. He said clearly, Ukraine will not join the European Union, even if it keeps asking for 100 years. There is also a very important statement from retired United States Army Colonel Douglas. Of course, everyone knows who Douglas is. He said, "If this Ukrainian issue is not resolved as soon as possible, a major tragedy will occur in Europe." He said that this disaster will start in the Eastern European countries first, then it will spread to the rest of the European countries completely. He said the longer this conflict in Ukraine lasts, the more Europe will suffer, and there will be a major disaster for Europe. This American colonel revealed other very important information. He said that Zelensky now has more than $1 billion in his various bank accounts, and he said that this information is not a secret. He said it's known to everyone, known to all international intelligence agencies. He said the CIA knows that, the Israeli Mossad knows that, British intelligence knows that, and he said a number of intelligence agencies around the world know this information. So it's clear that Zelensky still isn't satisfied with the amount he has now, which is $1.5 billion from Europe. Anyway, there are very rapid developments happening in this Ukrainian file, and things are escalating quickly. And it's certain that Trump will continue this retaliation against the Europeans, of course. Now, whether it's in China, Russia, or a number of other regions, everyone is watching what Trump will do next. What is the next step? Russia and China? They have everything ready now, ready-made plans. Everything is prepared. They're just waiting for Trump's move that will allow them to make a big move. How will that happen? Of course, that's what we'll see in the coming days. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.